Yasukeh here. So, there's some pretty big news in the Tryndamere world of gaming coming out. Tryndamere is actually getting some buffs next patch, which is just amazing. Which kind of came out of nowhere because Tryndamere for the overall in the season has been pretty good right now. So, if you haven't played in this week, you'd actually be pretty surprised. And I didn't actually know this until like yesterday. But so in last patch, Tryndamere had a good win rate. Like, Tryndamere had a decent win rate worldwide. It was very good, and especially if you'd go into other regions like Korea, it was like turbo high. Like, it was really, really high what kind of win rate we're looking at. Sometimes it wasn't, depending on what you're looking at, but actually in the next patch, in this patch, if you look in high elo, if you look in plat elo, like, Tryndamere's win rate has been pretty bad. Like, overall, it's not been too great. Tryndamere is typically balanced around a 51% win rate. This is a common thing that I'll say, is that if Tryndamere has below a 50% win rate, there's something really, really, really wrong. If he has like 50%, he's weak. If he has 52%, he's really, really powerful. Certain champions are balanced around different win rates. A good example of what I would give is like Akali, right? If Akali is at a 43% win rate, she is balanced. If an Akali ever gets to 45%, she's in nerf tier. She's in nerf tier. Different champions have different levels in which their solo queue win rate should be balanced. Akali is a really hard champion to play that requires a lot of different things, so that if she has a 50% win rate, that's like really, really not good for the game. So Tryndamere's win rate, all of a sudden, after this last patch, went down dramatically. And I was really surprised to see that, because like, been a pretty good patch for me personally playing. So looking into the patch notes, a couple things that would make this make sense is, one, the Doran shield change. I didn't think this was actually going to be that bad, because the Doran shield change was equivalent to 24 HP per second, or per minute, right? So you only lost 24 HP per minute. The problem is that like in an average laning state, you're going to stay for maybe like 4 minutes. You're losing 100 health, and that 100 health is the difference between being able to go for a trade and not being able to go for a trade. Or, like, being able to stay in lane or needing to be forced to go back. Like, this Doran Shield nerf was actually a lot bigger than I expected. And Doran Shield was by far the most commonly purchased item on Tryndamere. It looks like right now, Longsword with a refill pot is the most successful start on Tryndamere. Is that currently... yeah, Longsword refill is statistically the best of what's going on right now. I'm still kind of running Doran Shield just out of habit, but if you're looking for a new starting item right now, after the Doran Shield nerf, consider going Longsword refill. Another change that might have contributed to how Tryndamere's win rate went so dramatically down was this Malphite buff. Malphite's the most common matchup for Tryndamere, because so many people will counterpick Tryndamere with Malphite, even if it's just first time. So that if Malphite is getting a significant buff that's increasing his power, like a 2 seconds increase in his W cooldown. So that is a much smaller window in which you can trade him. Because ideally in a Malphite matchup, you want to bait him to use his W, and then don't actually get hit by it. That's one of the common things you do against Malphite, is kind of bait out his abilities, but now you have a much smaller window to do that. So Malphite buffs being his most common matchup, gonna make that be a much more common pick for people to play, because they see, hey, Malphite's buffed, I want to pick him more. And then so you're going to play against a lot more of this matchup, and statistically, it's not actually that insane of a matchup, oftentimes. But it is super highly played that even if it is a little bit... even if it's a 51% win rate, right? If it's your most commonly played matchup, Malphite getting a 51% win rate into Tryndamere is going to be a lot more significant if you're going to get a lot more Tryndamere games in. So... yeah, and it's not really confirmed what the Tryndamere buffs are, but one thing that I really do like, honestly, is in the kind of state that Tryndamere is as a champion, you get situations to where Riot will always buff Tryndamere if he goes below a certain level of win rate. And they're actually pretty quick about it. Like, I'm really happy that we as Tryndamere mains aren't playing Yorick, right? Because Yorick is a champion who... the second he sees a tiny, tiny little sliver of play, boom, instant nerfed. This champion is not allowed to be good. Whereas Tryndamere, People who play Tryndamere typically only play Tryndamere. So if you nerf Tryndamere, if you make Tryndamere a weak champion, people just quit the game. Whereas Yorick players are used to getting shafted. So they're going to be a lot more willing to just deal with permanently being bad. Which, honestly, I'm sorry, Yorick mains. It really does feel bad to be you guys. But, so another thing, right, is that last patch, Overheal got buffed. Pretty significantly. The shield on Overheal is like 100 to 300 right now. It's really, really big. You get a lot of the shield on Overheal. And Triumph is the rune that we often take in that same slot. And Triumph is functionally getting nerfed for Tryndamere's use case, in that it will be doing a lot less healing when you are low. Which means that next patch, after this 13.5 comes out, you are not going to be able to survive a turret shot with Triumph plus Q. And that was already kind of a thing, but now it's definitely going to be a thing. So, I'm already taking Overheal right now. I actually think it's really good, at least if you are taking Hydra. If you are taking Hydra first and you're playing around that playstyle, Overheal is just so good. It's so good. And I've been doing a little bit of experimentation with, if you don't want to go Hydra, you can go like Gale Force Navari into Bloodthirster. Bloodthirster plus Overheal. I ran it in, I believe, this game right now, where I have a bunch of deaths. But overall, I was having a 700 HP shield at a very early level, which is really, really big. And that is really good against burst champions like Akali, like Zed, who, if you survive their combo, all of a sudden you're out free. You're out free. It's really good. So overall, I'm really glad that we play a champion, and when we play champions, that as Tryndamere mains, when our champion gets nerfed, we stop playing the game. So all of you bros, all of you Tryndamere bros, us leaving the game when Tryndamere sucks was a threat to Riot. Like, we spoke with our actions, so that whenever Tryndamere is in a bad spot, which is just randomly on a patch, he goes from the best top laner to the worst top laner. Like, if I play around with a lot of these statistics, often he's either the worst top laner right now, or the 5th worst top laner right now. So, if you don't want to play Tryndamere when he's weak, I'd recommend not playing this patch and just waiting till next patch. Although, I'm still going to keep on playing because I'm still having a really good time right now, personally. Although that is because I've stopped being washed. And, I'm probably just going to shoot up to Challenger as soon as Tryndamere gets buffed, because I'm doing really well when Tryndamere is on his weakest patch right now. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see all of you bros go over to Challenger. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think the Tryndamere buff is going to be? We'll see what it is tomorrow in a little bit. But, yeah, as soon as those Tryndamere buffs specifically come out, we'll make a video going over them. Thank you guys all for watching. See you guys in the next video tomorrow, going over the Tryndamere changes. Goodbye. What do you think the changes are? And were you surprised that Tryndamere's win rate went so low this patch? Even though it was just a Doran shield nerf. Unless there were other things that were dealing with it. Goodbye. And good night. Yeet.